Hello, unlimited friends. Today we are going to discuss how subliminal sounds impact our ability to manifest. Hi, I'm ZMAHOON from ZMAHOON.com, and on this channel we talk about how to apply law of attraction to our lives in a practical manner. Okay, so let's get started. So what is subliminal sound? Subliminal sound basically is white noise. Yes, that's right. That's all it is. It's white noise. Our brains are so used to looking for things that are interesting to focus on, things that we can question, things that we can investigate, things that make us feel excited about the journey of life. So when our mind starts focusing on something that is really boring and repetitive, it gives up. It gives up thinking as fast as it does usually. So what happens when we listen to something that is repetitive is that the space between our thoughts starts becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So our thoughts don't come as fast and they are short because we're focused on this noise. So in the beginning, when you start listening to subliminal sounds, your mind is going to try and figure out if they have a pattern. Then your mind is going to try to figure out whether it's going in one direction or another direction. But in the end, because none of that is true, it's repetitive and it's not going anywhere, it's just there, like static. Your mind gives up. Your mind gives up trying to figure it out. And when that happens, the space between your thoughts increases to an extent that you go in and you stay there and then come out at the other end. So there are various levels of this gap increasing in size. And that's what they mean when they talk about alpha and beta and theta levels. Basically, it is the gap between your thoughts that's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And when we sleep, we go really deep in, where we wake up and then we resume thinking. So as we're sleeping, thinking is not happening, especially if you're in that phase where deep sleep happens. So that's what subliminal sounds are all about. Why do they work? Well, subliminal sound works because it helps you to stop thinking about your life. When you stop thinking about your life, you put on pause all the resistance, all the negative beliefs that you've got with respect to your life and all subjects of your life. That's why subliminal sounds are good for us, because they help us to put everything away. So basically, the biggest use of subliminal sound is to take us quickly into a meditative state and keep us there for a period of time. That's the basic use. Over time, a lot of people have contorted this information, and people, well-meaning people, have said that when you're in that state, you should repeat affirmations to yourself, because then those affirmations get planted in your subconscious mind. I have a little bit of a divergent opinion about this. First of all, an affirmation, whether you listen to it in your wake state, which is this, me talking to you, or whether you listen to it in a subliminal manner, it does not matter. If the statement that you're saying or listening to in this case is very far away from where you naturally are with respect to that subject, it is not going to be helpful. In fact, it can have the opposite effect. So what I want to explain to you is that affirmations listened to in a subliminal state are no more powerful than affirmations listened to in your conscious wakeful state. The reason is because in order for an affirmation, which really is like a new belief that you want to accept and you want to start living your life by this belief, well, it doesn't matter whether you're in a subliminal state or whether you're in a wake state, because if you're too far away from the place that you want to go vibrationally, then it's not going to work. So the magic of subliminal affirmations is that when you're in that state, your vibration rises because it's like being in meditation. So your vibration rises. And if you introduce a pure thought at that time when you have increased your level of vibration, when you've gone up the emotional scale, so you're in this place of feeling eager, hopeful, love, it's easier because it seems more real. So if I say something and I'm in that meditative state, it has more believability and it improves our expectancy of that event happening. So that's where the power of subliminal affirmations comes in. However, if your mind rejects that statement when you come out of that state, if your mind still believes that it's a lie, then you have not made any progress forward. And that's why it's actually more effective to do your vibrational work in a conscious, wakeful state. Because when you do your work in a conscious, wakeful state, you are able to convince the mind that what you want it to believe actually has a reasonable chance of being believable. So your mind does not reject that information. And that is why, just like anything else, subliminal affirmations work for some people and don't work for other people. It has to do with the emotional state of the person. Now, having said that, I have to add a disclaimer. And the disclaimer is, just like in meditation, if you take something into meditation that you want to fix, it actually does not get fixed. In fact, the chances that it will get worse are higher. And the reason is because meditation is like a magnifying glass where you have focused thought. So if you're pointed on the absence of something rather than the having of it, then meditation will make it bigger. Most people don't really know which end of the stick they are pointed on. All we know is that we are thinking about a subject. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you're thinking about the subject of money. Well, money has a feeling of abundance and a feeling of lack on the other end, right? So just because you're thinking about money doesn't mean that you're necessarily thinking about the having of money. You could be thinking about the absence of money. It takes mindfulness to know exactly where you are, and it's connected to your feeling state. So when you think about the subject of money, if it makes you feel bad, if you're thinking about that bill that is waiting to be paid or the bill that you're expecting at the end of the month, then you're at this end of the spectrum. This end of the spectrum that has to do with lack. But when you think about money and it makes you feel happy, now you're in an abundant state. So when you go into this subliminal place, if you go there from a vibration of lack, you are not opening the door to money coming in. You're actually closing that door and you're applying glue. You're making it worse. If you go into the subliminal state with a vibration of abundance, with a vibration of having money, now you're opening the door to money coming in. So my suggestion to you is don't do that. Don't take anything into that subliminal state that needs fixing unless you are clear about which end of the stick you're on. Because inadvertently, you can end up hurting yourself. And that is the reason why, with anything, with any tool that has to do with energy work, some people have success and other people don't have success. It's not like a can opener. One person uses a can opener, they open the can. The other person uses the can opener, they open the can. It's the same result with the can opener. But law of attraction tools are not like that. This person uses the tool and it does the job, and then this person uses the exact same tool and it does nothing. In fact, things get worse. And the difference is because this person is not on the same vibrational, emotional wavelength as this person over here. So that is why subliminals work for one person and don't work for another person. But they are useful because subliminals are a way for you to get into a meditative state really easily because your mind gives up trying to think. So you can use them to go into meditation, and that is why I like to use white noise when I'm meditating. I like to listen to the sound of rain, or just I have a white noise producing machine that I bought, I don't even know, 15 years ago, that comes with glasses, and the glasses flash light. So the combination, what it does is it engages your sense of hearing as well as your sense of sight, which are our two strongest senses, and it cuts them off from the world. So now your mind has nowhere to go. It can't go running around looking for things to think about. There's nothing there. And that is of benefit. Because when you shut down your thought process about your own life and what needs fixing in it, that's when the universe can start helping you. So if you can get into that meditative state, use subliminals by all means. I sure do, so why would I tell you not to? Use them, but use them properly. And the proper way to use subliminals is to shut down your thinking process with respect to your own life. So as you sit down, give your mind that instruction. I am sitting down to do my subliminal work just for 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour. And during this time, I am going to only focus on the sound that is being produced by my subliminal meditation or my subliminal machine, which I have. And when you do that, then your mind, which is really, really powerful and wants to do what you tell it to do, will let you know if you fall off track. If you go off track, your mind is going to say, Zara, you were here to do this subliminal work, so why are you thinking about who you want to call? Stop it. And that brings me back into the work that I'm doing. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, don't take any problems into your subliminal state, because whatever you take into the subliminal state becomes bigger. So don't do that. Okay? Go tell yourself that the reason you're doing this subliminal work is because you want to open the door to allow the universe to help you, provide you with guidance, and lead you to the things that are best for you. Don't ask for guidance on specific subjects because you don't know which end of the stick you're on. So go neutral. Go neutral instead of trying to figure out where you are. And going neutral means I'm going to let the universe figure out what needs fixing and allow the universe to fix it for me. I'm hands off. I relinquish control and give control over to the universe. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is don't use pre-recorded meditations that have affirmations already in them combined with subliminal sounds. And the reason I say that is, and I understand because I've been there. I have been an NLP practitioner, and that's where all of this material is coming from. And I know that the people who are producing it are well-meaning, and they do want you to succeed, and they want to succeed themselves as well. But what they are forgetting is that all the affirmations are not equal, in the sense that affirmations work when you are close to that state. So if you have an affirmation that says, I want $1,000,000, and you are $100,000 away from that $1,000,000, that's the right affirmation for you. But if you're over here and your bank balance is zero, asking for $1,000,000 means that you're actually pointed here on the lack of money rather than the having of money. So that's not a good affirmation for you. And that's why I say just leave all of that out, because you don't really need it. And if you are going to take affirmations into the process, then write your own affirmations that take you one step further. So from zero, having nothing in the bank, don't ask for 1,000,000, ask for 1,000 or even 500, because that has more believability. Your mind is not going to reject that request, and so it makes you feel better, because your goals have to be achievable for you. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is, unless you have a sleeping problem, don't go to sleep with these things in your ears, because really they're not working when you're asleep, because sleep is a process of defocusing, and using affirmations only works when you are focusing. Because when you're defocused, then you're not absorbing the thought that you are wanting to absorb. So if my affirmation was, I want to feel peace in my heart. Let's say that's my affirmation. I want to feel peace in my heart. Well, if I'm not focusing on that thought, then I am not planting it into my subconscious mind. It's better then to leave it outside and to practice that thought when I am conscious. Because when you're conscious, that's where you're shifting your beliefs. You are not shifting your beliefs while you sleep. However, the white noise helps you to stop thinking, and that's why if you do use white noise, you will get better, deeper sleeping experience. The thing that I'm trying to do here is to tell you to leave affirmations outside when your purpose is to go to sleep. Because if you don't know which side of the spectrum you're on, and in sleep we go through various stages, and in these upper stages of consciousness, we are still focused in the sense that our thinking mechanism isn't quite switched off. So we are thinking as we go down, and then we stop thinking, and now we are asleep. We are defocused, which means we're not thinking anymore. Well, when you're defocused, who cares what's plugged in, because you're not focused on it anyway, so you're not absorbing it. But as you go into sleep, if you don't know where you are, you can end up hurting yourself. So folks, I hope that this discussion on subliminals is useful to you, and I hope that you are able to take something that you can incorporate into the way you do things. By all means, use white noise. It is a fantastic thing. So I hope you found this discussion useful, and I hope you got some useful tips that you can take away and actually start applying. Use subliminals, use white noise, because it is really, really helpful to get into that space, and leave everything else outside. So that's it for me for now. I hope you will come and visit me again tomorrow. And if you found this useful, leave me a comment. If you have a question about this, leave me a comment. And come back again. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll like and share this video with whoever you think will find it useful. Thank you once again, and see you later. Bye for now.